Hi, I'm Cash with CashedOutBoards, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make your very own skimboard. Let's get started. The first thing to do is to lay out your materials. For my skimboard, I used 3 sheets of 1/8" Baltic birch plywood. Once your material is all marked up, cut it into the rectangles. Mine were 22 by 39 inches. I like to use a table saw for the cut. When using all power tools, make sure that you're careful and keep safety in mind. Make sure that your wood is cut slightly bigger than the size that you want your final product to be, as you lose some material throughout the process. Next, if you want your board to have rocker, you need to create a press system. To give mine its slight curve, I used scrap wood, foam, and weights. Once your scrap wood and foam is laid out, do a test run to make sure you have enough weights to totally laminate the material, as shown here. Now to actually press the board. It's easier to show this process with this time lapse. Set up the plies of wood in order that you want them, so they're easy to keep track of while gluing. To actually glue up the board, start with the bottom ply already on the press and spread glue over its surface. Then move to the next ply and spread glue on that. Then place the 2 glue sides touching, and repeat this process until all the plies are glued together. Then begin adding the boards and weight on top of the plies to press the board into its shape and make sure it's well laminated. Once it's all set up, clean the excess glue and wait for it to dry. While the glue dries, I like to make a template for the shape of the board. To do this, I prefer to make a scale drawing first and then transfer it over to cardboard for a full-size template. Once your design is all marked up on cardboard or paper, cut it out. Then make a center line down your skimboard and trace the template on. If you're interested, I have a more detailed video on creating templates on my channel. Now it's finally time to cut out your board. I like to use a jigsaw for my cuts. Remember to try to stay just outside the line, as you will sand down the board and perfectly shape it. Once it's all cut out, sand down the edges of your board to finish shaping it and to remove any marks left by the saw. To do this, I used a palm sander, but you could also use a belt sander or even hand sand down the board. Now to round the skimboard's upper edge, or its rail. I use a router to start giving the edge some shape. Then I use the palm sander to round over the remaining sharp edges and give it a nice smooth feel. From what I've read, most boards leave the lower edge fairly sharp to give you more control while riding. Once the edges are all nice and smooth, sand down the faces of your board to smooth those out too. To do this, I also like to use a palm sander. Once your board is perfectly shaped and perfectly smooth, you could add your own stain design or graphics. For my board, I stained the bottom and stenciled the CashedOutBoards logo onto the top. To see how to do this process in more detail, click this annotation. Once your paint and stain is dry, the final thing to do is to clear coat your board. To do this, I poured a good amount of the finish onto the board and then used a piece of foam to spread it. Make sure that you don't go too heavy and get drips and runs, but also ensure that you cover the entire surface evenly. I used polyurethane to finish my board, but there are more ideal finishes for a skimboard, including different resins and marine-grade clear coats. Between coats, once the clear coat is fully dry, scuff it down using fine sandpaper or a scuff pad, and then clean it to remove all the dust. Then do your next coat. This will allow you to get a high-quality finish. Once your final coat of clear coat is dry, your skimboard is done. Here are some shots of my finished board. I hope you found this video helpful and that you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment any questions you may have and subscribe for more board building videos. As always, thank you for watching.